Hey, you did it. You found it. You found the podcast version of the show. It's Writer Radio. Here are the things you need to know. We stream live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Time at writerradio.com. 2, you can find every episode on YouTube, youtube.com/@writerradio. We're on Spotify, same name, Writer Radio. We are on Twitter or X @BradWriter, BradRiter. We're on Instagram @Writer Radio. There's a group now, Writer Radio Facebook group. Go there, find that, follow that, like it, whatever you have to do. We've got a phone number. You can send texts, leave voicemail, 716-288-5246. Email, bradwriter@gmail.com. You don't need to memorize this. It can all be found at writerradio.com. That's the hub. But those are the places. Thanks for listening. Please tell a friend. Please share. That's how we grow. Glad to have you on board to the podcast version of Writer Radio.
Welcome to the morning meeting, everybody. Or should I say the whenever you decide to show up meeting.
I said the hip, hop, the hippie, the hip, hip, hop, and you don't stop the rocket to the bang, bang, boogie, say, yup, yup, the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Now what the hell is to the system ripping to the beat? I mean, the groove, and my friend, you're gonna try to move your feet. See, I am Wonder Man, and I'd like to say hello. I do the back to the white, the red, and the blue, the purple, and yellow. But first I gotta bang, bang, the boogie to the boogie, say, do the boogie to the bang, bang, boogie.
Started thinking about these promos and liners that used to run when I had a show on WGR a long time ago. And it was the big voice guy going, "What makes Brad Writer different?" And then back when I was working with Jeremy, we would always just throw out these lines, like just stupid, quirky things about me that are different from other people. And I kept thinking about that just now as I was going back and forth between the computer. I'm in the basement, right? Going back and forth between the computer, where I'm playing a variety of songs, all of them from Soul Asylum, because they're from Minneapolis, and I'm going to Minneapolis today. And tomorrow we'll probably hear a bunch of replacements and Prince during the show that comes at you live from Indianapolis. But as I'm going back and forth between the computer to play the songs and then hovering over a garbage can also in the basement as I'm shaving and giving myself a haircut all at the same time while getting ready to go. I've got to be at the airport at 1:30, so the show going until noon is fine. But then I got to hustle right from there on. I've got most of my stuff ready, but like part of what I'm taking is the equipment that I used for the broadcast, and I can't break it down and pack it away. I've got a spot for it. It's like ready. I'm prepped. But I'm trying to get everything done at the same time. It wouldn't be crazy for me to be like, oh, I'm going to play a 9-minute song and go upstairs and take a shower during the show. That might happen. Or a taped interview or something, because my head is in a million places as I'm trying to go. It's really just because it's the first trip of the year. Haven't been out of town on a business type of thing since the Bahamas. The Bahamas were it sounds like real business-like, doesn't it? Oh, Brad, that must have been so hard going to work in the Bahamas. You're right. It was easy. It was awesome. It was great. We went down there. We did some podcasts. We did podcasts every day. Some audio, some video, a little bit of everything. That was awesome. But that was the last time. There is responsibility. It's not just going to Cedar Point for a baseball tournament. Although that comes with extra stuff, too, because there's the whole family. There I'm trying to account for 5 people. Here I'm just trying to account for 1, but I can't miss anything. If I forget a power cord or a microphone or a set of headphones or something and it screws up the whole podcast/show, that's no good. If I don't have all my notes ready for the game, which will be tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern, then I'm screwed. If I don't remember underwear, if I don't remember socks, if I don't plan out footwear, I try to do all in one carry-on bag, which when you have size 12 shoes, that means pick out one pair of shoes. That's what you're wearing for the entire trip. So I got to figure that out. And then does that involve socks? Does that not involve socks? Like that kind of little stuff. I'm not in the groove of traveling right now. Plus, I've added the extra part where I'm bringing the this podcast stuff so that I can do the show tomorrow. And it's a big show tomorrow. It's one that people have been talking about. Perhaps the most highly anticipated show in Writer Radio history is number 154. Been hearing a lot about 154 on social media and the national news. There's a lot of people talking about. Did you believe me for a second there? Did you believe me? Because I made that part up. Nobody's really talking. Well, people are writing to me about it. But it's not like a public thing. Like, holy crap, Brad's going to eat 338 pistachios in 5 minutes. Or try to. We'll see what happens. I don't know yet if the pistachio challenge, Pistache Fest, Pistachiageddon, whatever we're calling it, I don't know if that's going to be something that we record today. It's going to happen in Minnesota, for sure. But will it be in the hotel room today? Will it be live during the show tomorrow? Will it be right after we get there? Will it be at 11:30 at night after we get back from some sort of bar or something? Whatever it's going to be, it's going to happen, and you'll get the full results tomorrow. This challenge started when we were talking about the hot dog eating contest back a month and a half ago. And Scott Wilson came with all these different competitive eating, like world records. And we were talking about the viability of doing them. And two that I settled on that I think are doable. One is a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts. I think I get, is it 8 minutes? Maybe I get 10 minutes on that. I forget what that one is. Maybe it's 8 minutes. Dozen Krispy Kreme donuts. I'm not trying to set world records. I'm just trying to do things that I think are accomplishable. And this one here with the pistachios, the record is 338 pistachios shelled and eaten in 5 minutes. Now, to show you that while I'm a little nuts, most of my points come from a place of logic. All I said to Scott, and I guess I could go back and find the tape. I'm not going to. All I said was, the hard part is the shelling. I don't think I could shell 338 pistachios in 5 minutes. I get through like a dozen in 5 minutes. So it makes them a good snack. There's something to do. Keep you busy. It's like the thinking man's sunflower seed. And far more delicious. The seed itself, the nut, I should say, is so much better than the sunflower seed. You can cover your sunflower seed shells in all the flavors you want. They're not pistachios. They never will be. Back off. Big seed. So my point was, the impressive part, the more impressive part, is not the consumption of 38 shelled pistachios. It's the ability to shell, I said 38, 338 pistachios in 5 minutes. That's crazy. Like, do I get a hammer? Can I use a hammer? Maybe with a hammer, I could get to, 50 in 5 minutes or something. But the impossibility there is the shelling of the pistachios. I take the problem ones, and set them aside and save them for later. Now, I was doing that at the radio station, and like everything else, it fell apart. I even talked about it on the air, how I was saving these pistachios that I couldn't get open for the end. And then however many I had, I was going to get a hammer or a nutcracker or something. Dun, 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 dun. I was in. And then somebody just threw them away. It was like 6 pistachios on a desk. I'm like, I got to clean this place up. Get rid of 6 friggin' pistachios. Anyway, a lot of problems. A lot of miscommunication going on at the during the first 100 episodes of Red Radio. So all of this leads me to a point where Scott Wilson has purchased pistachios. He said there's no way he's shelling them, so he bought them already shelled. They're shelled, they're roasted, they're lightly salted, I think. But he sent me a picture of the bag of 338 pistachios. It's probably going to be, from the research I've done, somewhere between a quarter and a half pound of pistachios. Which, could you eat a quarter-pound burger in 5 minutes? Yeah. Could you eat a half-pound burger in 5 minutes? That sounds painful, but yeah, I guess. I'm picturing the old Fuddruckers burgers. Those are half-pound. They're massive. And, by the end, you feel terrible. But you do it. The first 6 bites are great. The second half of it, kind of goes downhill. Maybe that's why quarter-pounders are far more popular than half-pound burgers. But I don't think it's even quite half a pound. So, and they're not gross. Pistachios are delicious. That helps. This isn't, hard-boiled eggs. Where, again, one's good. Second one might be all right. God, it's gross even thinking about 3 hard-boiled eggs in a row, isn't it? pistachios, I feel like I might do that accidentally. Like, I kind of need the shells as speed bumps to slow me down. It's what allows me to buy a 5-pound bag of pistachios and have it for 6 months. Because you eat like 12 or 13 of them, and then you're exhausted from dealing with the shells, and then you get on with your life. If you just pop them, oof, I don't know. So all of this makes sense. There's got a text that says, in the interest of transparency, I have packed 339, one extra for the record. This is not going to be a record. This is me doing the easy part of the job. The hard part of the job is the shelling. Scott did that by purchasing the shelled ones. Someone else shelled them for us. And I don't care how long it took them, because that's not a part of this. I appreciate that. 339. I mean, could you imagine if I could do 338 but not do 339? That's dumb. That said, I think about things like this all the time because I'm nuts. It feels like everything is possible if you just do it incrementally. It's the boiling frog theory. I don't know if I'm doing that right, but you know what I mean. If I just go up 1 degree all the time, if I eat one pistachio today, I try to eat one pistachio in 5 minutes. No problem. 2. A month from now it's 30. A year from now we're approaching 400. Like, if you just added one a day, you'd get bored with it. You'd get sick of it maybe, but you could always eat one more pistachio. These aren't Twinkies. These aren't Krispy Kreme donuts. You can't eat an infinite number of Krispy Kreme donuts. I think you can eat an infinite number of pistachios. Not necessarily in 5 minutes, but let's say you had a pistachio today and then 2 tomorrow and then 3 the next day. Take the time frame out of it. For sure, 338 days from now, I'd be eating 338 pistachios without a problem. For sure is a strong term. I recognize that. I'm saying in my mind, for sure. Yeah, no problem. You get what I'm saying, right? So I don't think this is crazy. Half-pound burger isn't really a half pound. It's less when it's cooked down. Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to get a reference point here. I know it's not the same thing. All right, I didn't mean to open talking about pistachios. I meant to open talking about Shaun Dolac, our friend, who I considered calling to see if he'll come on the show, but he's busy being a Ram, and it's early in the morning, and last I checked, LA's in California. Pretty sure that's 3 hours different. So we're talking about a show that airs from 7 to 9, and if you're a pro football player and a very intense one, as Shaun is, then I don't know that 7 to 9 a.m. is a great time, and I didn't want to bother him. And I didn't want to just say congratulations and then have him write back and then have me say, hey, do you want to come on my show? I didn't want to do that either. So at some point soon, we'll get him. People are writing in about him. They should be. It's funny. I look up. We had a hunch for the last couple of days, the past several days, really, that he's making the team. He sat out the final preseason game, and they were talking about him as if he was sitting out because he's on the team. And I didn't see the game, but all the reports I got back, little tidbits of information from mostly our UB friends, Scott and Paul and John, all indications were this guy's going to make the team. And, I mean, we've been telling you that. Don't know if he's going to get drafted, but he's going to go to a camp. When he goes to a camp, he's making the team. Whether he's a linebacker or a special teamer, you're not saying no to that dude being on your football team. And even going back to around the pro day, I think it was, Paul Peck caught up with John City, who's a former Bulls linebacker also, but is a scout, I believe, with the Bears. And Paul came away with had a private conversation with John where he said, watch out for the Rams. He's like, that's the kind of team that grabs a guy like Shaun and doesn't let him go and turns him into a star. McVay's going to love that guy. And that's true. We have audio from McVay. Where did I put that? Hold on. Here it is. Let's see if I can get that up. This is Sean McVay, head coach of the Rams, talking. I haven't even listened to this. I just read it. Talking about Shaun Dolac. And I have to unmute it or it's not going to play. I have to turn up the volume. That's the problem. Sorry. A lot of volume things, a lot of buttons and switches. Here we go.
I think there's a lot of guys that you could talk about, but I think, Shaun Dolac's a guy that personifies really, hey, we're going to evaluate, who we think is the best players, and it doesn't matter whether you were drafted, what your salary is. We're going to try to do it. And it doesn't mean that we make all the right decisions, but we do try to be able to have honest evaluations and do what's best for the collective. And I think he's a great example. I don't know that I'd say I was shocked, because there was a lot of appreciation for him coming in as an undrafted free agent, but I think it's a good representation of everything is going to be earned, and he was a guy that earned a spot.
All right, so that's head coach Sean McVay on Dolac. The Rams cut a drafted linebacker and kept Dolac. Told you. I mean, it's just I don't understand, and Paul, I think, is the best at expressing this frustration. Don't understand how you can watch that guy play college football and then not think he can make your NFL team. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, he's a little small, but good God. And then what's interesting, too, is just Googling his name, Googling Shaun Dolac. Top stories. University of Buffalo, Shaun Dolac makes LA Rams roster. He was a guy that earned a spot. UB Shaun Dolac makes roster. Seneca's Shaun Dolac makes Rams 53-man roster. Rams undrafted free agent named player to be excited about after preseason. Exclusive Shaun Dolac interview from MAC Defensive Player of the Year to LA Rams 53-man roster. And then we get into this. Did the Bills whiff by not signing hometown star who made the Rams 53-man roster? Sort of. I mean, he's right there. He was free. Maybe he wanted to go to L.A. There's a part of me that likes it better when the Bulls are distributed throughout the NFL. I'm not trying to hoard everyone. I mean, I think it's cool. The Andreessen story and Cam Lewis and Jamarcus Ingram and going back, Dominic Cook and Naaman Roosevelt and Drew Haddad. I like when the team in Orchard Park notices the team in Amherst, but they've had their eye on it for a while. I am surprised that Dolac didn't get more of a, we didn't hear more connection between him and the Bills, especially considering the success they've had with Andreessen. But maybe you don't need both. And they already had Joe, so like, you know what? Let Shaun do somewhere else. Because seriously, if the Bills bring in Dolac, he's probably competing with Andreessen for the same basic role. And, maybe that's not ideal for anyone. So it's not a whiff when the Bills don't sign Dolac. It is crazy that he doesn't get drafted by any of the 32 teams. But also it's not going to matter because he has found his place onto a roster. And injuries aside, he's going to prove day in and day out that he belongs. So that's awesome. Very excited for him. There were multiple stories of, did the Bills whiff? Did the Bills screw up? Why didn't the Bills get him? How come the Bills? It's okay. I like spreading it around the NFL. They didn't whiff. I think it's fine. And I'm excited for him. And I'm sure we'll talk to him at some point soon. We're going to talk a lot of UB football tomorrow for sure because I'll be in Minnesota. Leaving today about 3 hours from now, 11:30. I've got to be there at 1:30, take off at 3, get there at like 4:15 their time or something like that. And then we'll be hanging out. The pistachio thing's going to happen. I've been informed by John Fuller that he's never been to the Mall of America. So I think probably tomorrow we'll go to the Mall of America, which is huge. They've got like roller coasters inside of it, which is crazy. We do have a mall problem in America, and the Mall of America, I don't think the Mall of America will go away. While there's going to be a massive problem with all the land being taken up by buildings that used to house stores that no longer need to exist, we do have to rethink our mall situation in America. We have to rethink our strip mall situation in America. How often now are we seeing strip malls built and then just not being filled for years? Like, there's just too much retail space. There's too much of an old mentality on let's get this land, let's develop it, let's turn it into this, and then all the businesses will come, except they don't. I will say one exciting business development in Western New York. Yesterday, I think it was, we were talking about the story that the Spot Coffee in Clarence on Transit Road is going away. And the lease is up, and they didn't renew the deal. But I saw a story today that Shake Shack's going in there. So there's a second location of Shake Shack, not counting the ones on the thruway. But if you haven't been to Shake Shack, if that just sounds like some other fast food place. I recommend trying it. It's the only place I've ever had good crinkle cut fries. Their crinkle cut fries are delicious, and crinkle cut fries are notoriously the worst fries in existence. There's nothing there, and they somehow get that right. So that place is cool. I like it, and now it's kind of there's one to the right and one to the left from where I live. I have not yet been to the one on the boulevard. The boulevard scares me, just in general. I think it's my least favorite road in Western New York, and that area in the north towns, and like I don't know if that's technically Amherst or Tonawanda, whatever it is, where you've got Target's the main thing, and Lowe's, and then just every other store that's ever existed. They're all in the same place, and then the traffic reflects that right near the 290. I hate it over there, and I avoid that area as often as possible. Shake Shack on Transit Road. Now we're talking, man. Now we're talking. All right. I'm Brad Ryder. It's Ryder Radio. It's episode 153. I have no guests today, in part because I'm going to be loaded up with guests tomorrow, including Scott Wilson, who will be there the whole time. He has to be because there's nowhere to go because he's my roommate. And we're going to be at some hotel in Minneapolis, and we're going to set this stuff up, and we're going to do the show live from there. I don't know if it will include as much music as it normally does. Maybe it will. Depends. Honestly, it depends on how much time is spent sitting around the hotel room just setting things up. It might be, all day today, all night today. I don't know what we're doing tonight. I think there's a trivia night. I know there's a trivia night like right near our hotel, so we'll probably do that. But it might be an early evening. That might lead to just setting up. It might be pistachio night tonight. I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be crazy. We get a little nuts on the road. I told this story already, but my wife overheard me talking about this pistachio thing, and her general demeanor was not disgust. It was not, I don't know, maybe it was disappointment. It was almost like she can't believe how simple-minded I am, along with all of my friends, and what entertains us. She's like, so you're going to Minneapolis, and this is what you're going to do? Like, yeah. What? Why would I not? Scott asked me if I could eat pistachios, and I said yes. Why would I not do that? And men are from Mars thing. Women are from Venus. Men are from Mars. How are that? She just didn't get it. So that's what you're going to do? Yeah. Okay. I don't know if that's great. It doesn't matter if it's great. It's just a show. Just hanging out. Just having fun. All right. I'm going to take a break. I've got an update on the Back Tee Golf Classic, the golf tournament. I'm going to have Dave Dombrowski on again on Friday. We'll have some more news on that. But one exciting piece of news is who has been added as a part of the tournament and who's being auctioned off for you to potentially play golf with in Gowanda at Gowanda Country Club coming up next month. We're going to have an update from Dave on that live during Friday show. I get back at like 3 or 3:30 in the morning on Friday, but I'll be on at 10, and Dave's going to be a part of that show with some updates on getting you involved in participating in the Back Tee Golf Classic, a tournament to benefit the Spina Bifida Clinic at Oshai Children's Hospital. Do I have to call it Golisano Children's Hospital yet? See that? They gave like $50 million. Let's see. What is the story on that? Golisano Children's. See, they already have Golisano Children's Hospital in Rochester. They have upstate Golisano Children's Hospital in Syracuse. They have the UR Medicine Golisano Pediatric Practice in Rochester. And soon, Oshai Children's Hospital will become Golisano Children's Hospital because he gave a lot of money. So that's good. But I don't know that we have to change the name, do we? I guess that's the whole thing, right? You got money, you want legacy, you put your name on stuff, you seem like a good guy. Doesn't mean you're not a good guy, but I'm just saying the perception is, hey, Children's Hospital. Bad people don't have children's hospitals, do they? What's the nicest thing you can do? Fund a children's hospital. So whether you're an angel or a devil, funding a children's hospital is a good move for your legacy. Not saying he isn't a good person. You get what I'm saying, right? No matter what, like that's what you want to do. You want your name on a children's hospital. That's the best possible way to be remembered. So good move. But the name change, I don't know. I don't like when arenas change names, like the KeyBank Center. I'm still not used to that. I just call it the arena because I keep forgetting what it's called. Where do the Sabres play? Dunn Tire Americare. Oh, that's the Bisons. Coca-Cola Field, no. New Era Field, Bills, no. I don't know. Like, I don't need to call it Pilot Field because that was a sponsor too. I don't need to call it Rich Stadium because that was a sponsor too. I don't need to call it, what was the arena first? Marine Midland Arena. I don't need to call it that. That bank's not around anymore. But once you keep changing them, we've got an arena, a stadium, and a ballpark, and that's how I refer to them all the time. I'm going to go back to just calling it Children's. It was Children's Hospital. Then it was, they started calling it CHOB, Children's Hospital of Buffalo. The insiders, the Kaleida insiders. I know some of them. One of them lives here. They call it CHOB. And then I think they started collectively calling it Oshai, and now they're going to call it Golisano. I'm going to call it Children's. I'm going to stick with Children's. Just simplifies things for me. And that's what's most important. How I feel. Right? Okay. It's Writer Radio. I'm Brad. We're going up until noon, although I reserve the right to, as I said, play like a 10-minute song and take a shower if I want. I can do anything I want. My show. I do have to leave here at, 1 o'clock or something, and I am not ready at all. So I'll be, I'm bouncing around. I'm doing all kinds of stuff. What did I say I was going to do? Oh, replacements. Because going to Minneapolis. So let's just play music from Minneapolis today. And probably tomorrow. Because I'll actually be there. Do that one. All right, yeah, we'll start with that one. Replacements. Who else is from Minneapolis? I played Soul Asylum at the start of the show. Prince. I'll look it up. The next artist you hear after the song Kiss Me on the Bus from the Replacements will also be somebody from Minneapolis or St. Paul or thereabouts as we continue with episode 153 of Writer Radio. This portion of Writer Radio has been deleted for the podcast version. If you want to hear everything that happens, listen live weekdays 10 to noon at writerradio.com. It's a lot of Minneapolis right there. Let's Go Crazy is Prince. Tangled Up in Blue is Bob Dylan. Jungle Love is Morris Day and the Time. Kiss Me on the Bus are Replacements. And we did 3 Soul Asylum songs before the show started. Tracks of My Tears, which is not theirs. That's Smokey Robinson. Cartoon, that's theirs. And To Serve With Love, which is not theirs either. I don't even remember who sings that. It's a woman. One word name. Lulu? Lulu? Is that right? Lulu? Hold on, I gotta look up. To Serve With Love song. Lulu. Hell yeah, Lulu. All right, it's Writer Radio. It's episode 153. It's live from Western New York today, but tomorrow it is not. Tomorrow it's coming at you from somewhere in Minneapolis. Some hotel in Minneapolis, excuse me, as we're getting set for the season opener for UB football. Very excited to have that day upon us. Travel is today. Suitcase is half packed. I'm half ready. And I'll have half an hour to complete getting ready in time to get on that plane, get on that airplane and head to Minneapolis. So there will be, there will be a show tomorrow. I need water. You have to give me a second. I'm going to turn the thing down so you don't hear me gulping water. Give me a sec. There we go. Oh, better. What was my point? Oh, so there will be a live show tomorrow from Minneapolis. It may involve, it's going to involve the pistachio situation. I have been charged with attempting to eat 338, maybe 339 pistachios over the course of 5 minutes. I don't have to shell them. They're already shelled. That's the hard part. The shelling is the hard part. The eating is, I'm not going to say easy. 338's a lot. Scott said the bag seems like a lot. It's not going to be pleasant necessarily. It might be. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe I'll just like it. Maybe that'll be a thing I do on Thursdays now. So anyway, that's either going to happen tonight and we'll record it and play it tomorrow, or it's going to happen live on the air tomorrow. But I'm trying to figure out, what's the right way to not ruin the trip. If this goes horribly wrong, I don't think I'm getting hospitalized because of pistachios. But if it's like a Seafood Newberg situation, let's say, For those of you unfamiliar, 2 Bahamas trips ago, we went to the buffet. I got something called Seafood Newburgh. I enjoyed it tremendously. It was excellent. It's a variety of fish and seafood and whatever in like a creamy sauce. Might have been over noodle. I don't know. Doesn't sound as great when I'm describing it, but it was it was good. But it ruined the rest of the day. The rest of the night, there was a good hour and a half where I was crippled by Seafood Newburgh. Let me look up Seafood Newburgh. We joke about it often, but I haven't looked at the recipe in a while. Seafood Newburgh recipe. All right, let's see what they... If I were to make 5 stars right here. 5-star Seafood Newburgh recipe. What's in it? Jump to recipe. Olive oil. No problem. Cod. Or any firm white fish. White fish. Shrimp. Scallops. Salt, pepper, lemon juice, butter, shallots, paprika. That sounds great. Cayenne pepper. Nutmeg. I don't like that part. Flour, milk, half and half. Dry sherry, flat leaf parsley, put all the seafood in a bowl, season it, whatever. See, that doesn't sound bad. But that in the Bahamas at a buffet and some overindulgence on my part, it's crippling. So I don't think pistachios are going to cripple me like Seafood Newburgh, but I am aware that what you eat can have an impact on how you feel shortly thereafter. So is this something I want to do right when I get there today? And then just be fine in time for the show tomorrow? Is it going to screw up going to trivia night or whatever we end up doing tonight in Mini? Do they call it Mini? I'm going to call it Mini. Do I want to do it at the start of tomorrow's show? Do I want to do it as the last thing on tomorrow's show? Maybe that's how we do it. Maybe we close tomorrow's show with it, and that gives me 7 hours till pregame to recover in whatever way I need to recover. I don't know if I'm going to have to recover. I'm going to do a lot more research. I'm going to read about this. This is what I'll do on the plane and in the hotel leading up to it. Like, what techniques? Like, should there be a lot of water involved? Should there be no water involved? Is there something else that I should eat along with? You know, like the hot dog guys dip the rolls in the water now? That's so gross to me. Eating 80 hot dogs to me isn't gross. Dipping a roll in water and eating it is gross. It's how my brain works. The hot dogs sound great, and I know they're not good for you, and there's no healthy amount of hot dogs you can eat. We've talked about this. Doesn't change the fact that I ate 17 over the course of the baseball season, and I'll do it again. We are back underway with baseball. I haven't been giving the update because it's not crazy right now. It's just 2 fall ball teams, 2 teams for next year that are practicing. I mean, there has been baseball. There's baseball most days again, but it's just not overwhelming right now because it's not tournaments. But actually, if I look at my schedule, we were at a practice yesterday. There's a practice today. I won't be there. There's a practice tomorrow. I won't be there. There's a scrimmage, I think, on Sunday. There might be something on Monday. Oh, we've got probably a game or 2 on Saturday. Maybe a game on Friday night even. Like, it's all over the place. There's a lot of baseball, but it's not, as you can tell, I haven't been mentioning it constantly every day because it hasn't taken over my life. All right, so what I was trying to say, I started this segment saying we've got the show till noon today. We've got a show tomorrow live from Minneapolis. I'll be back in the middle of the night, Thursday into Friday, and then the show will take place Friday, despite the fact that I will have just gotten home. But we'll do a show at 10, and part of the show on Friday is that Dave Dombrowski is going to join me, I think at 11. I've got it written down. I think I wrote it down already. Maybe I took that sheet with me and packed it in the bag. I think he's at 11. I don't remember, but he's on. And he's the guy who is organizing this new golf tournament, the Back Tee Golf Classic. It's in Gowanda Country Club, and it's coming up in September, and the show is a part of the tournament, and the tournament is part of the show. So it's all like one big thing. He sent me a video today that I don't know if he has already released. I'm sure I've got clearance to just play it. He wouldn't have sent it to me. He knows I do a show. You may remember back, it was episode like 97 or 98 of the radio part of Writer Radio. And I had a guest on, Thomas Ian Nicholas. He's a guy he was the kid in Rookie of the Year, Henry Rowan Gardner. and he's Kevin in the American Pie series of movies, and by all accounts, super cool, and he's friends with Dave, and he's coming to town for the tournament. And Dave had him record a video. It's 44 seconds of Thomas Ian Nicholas, and he sent it to me, and I'm going to play it for you. We'll talk more about it on Friday when Dave is on the show, and talk about how you can be involved in the tournament, how you can bid to be a part of the tournament, how you can bid to play with Thomas Ian Nicholas or with me. Here's our boy Tom.
Hey, what's up? I'm Thomas Ian Nicholas. Of course, you might know me better as Kevin from American Pie, or Hen, Ree, Ro, Wen, Gar, Ner from Rookie of the Year. I am teaming up with my buddy David Dombrowski for his Back Tee Golf Classic charity event on September 29th at Gowanda Country Club in Buffalo, New York. Now, here's the fun part. I am being auctioned off to join somebody's foursome on the golf course. All right, this is all, of course, to benefit the amazing work being done at Oshai Children's Hospital Spina Bifida Clinic. So let's have a good time for a good cause, hit some golf balls, and make a difference.
So that's exciting. We've had an idea that was going to happen. Basically, the whole time that I've been talking to Dave and Tom and talking about this golf tournament, we knew that there was a good chance that Thomas Ian Nicholas would be a part of it. He is going to be a part of it. He'll be raffled off to benefit the Spina Bifida Clinic at Oshai. So that's super cool. Very excited about that. We might talk to Tom again at some point on the show. He was really cool when I had him on. And we've had Dave on a couple times, but as we're getting closer to the tournament, we're going to promote it a little bit more and tell you how you can sign up to play, or you can bid, or attempt to get silent auction items. You know how these things work, man. There's all kinds of moving parts, and Dave is doing a tremendous job of putting this thing together, especially for a first-time tournament. I don't know that he's done anything like this, but he knows the right people. He's got the right contacts, and he's a good dude. So Dave, who's a drummer, he's a touring musician. He knows Thomas through music. He's putting this thing together. We'll talk to him again on Friday and get a little bit more information on how you can become involved. All right, this is the part where I just go through all the open tabs. So here's the way the show works. Right now, I'm doing the show sitting at a desk at my house. My setup is I've got a laptop computer. I've got 2 other monitors in addition to that. So I've got 3 screens, 4 if you count my phone, all just kind of connected into this audio interface thing that I use. That's coming with me. The rest of this stuff is not. So the show might sound a little bit different tomorrow because I don't have access to all of my little buttons that I push, all my little theme songs, and we might not have Kermit tomorrow. We might have Kermit tomorrow, but we might not have Kermit tomorrow. I love Kermit. I'm going to miss you, Kermit.
Welcome to the morning meeting, everybody. Or should I say the whenever you decide to show up meeting?
I got that today. I'll have that Friday. I don't know that I'll have that tomorrow because I take an entirely different laptop with me. It's already packed. And I don't know that I've put all of these audio files from this computer onto that one. So it might just be raw, as they say. Just me and Scott talking and eating pistachios or talking about the pistachio thing that already happened. The question came in the chat. So if you do it tonight and there's no show tomorrow, does it mean a stroke was involved? Yeah, probably. I don't anticipate. I mean, they've got good hospitals in Minnesota. I'm definitely going to bring my little benefits card. What do you call that thing? Insurance card, insurance info. I'm going to bring that. You never know. And honestly, if this is starting to hurt me, I'm not going to do it. I just think I can do it. If I find out I can't do it, then we found out together. This is not me guaranteeing anything. This is just me saying, I think reasonably, that the hardest part of eating 338 pistachios in 5 minutes is shelling 338 pistachios in 5 minutes. It started with a very logical statement. It has led to this physical challenge that I don't know that I'm up for, but doesn't seem that crazy to me. I mean, if I eat 200 pistachios in 5 minutes, how did I do? Is that a win? So I'm not bragging that I can do it. I'm just saying I think I can do it. I don't know. All right, so anyway, this computer is not coming with me. So I've got a million different tabs open on the computer, and over the course of the next hour, we're just going to go through the tabs that are open and try to close them so that I can let my computer relax while I'm gone. And because the stuff that's on my screen is from the last couple of days, yesterday and today, really. So a lot of it won't be relevant on Friday. And so I just want to get it shut down. All right, first tab is an ESPN Fantasy Football League for Nate's other draft. We did Nate's first ever fantasy draft as a part of the show yesterday. He was on the other side of the room, but he was drafting and keeping us posted on how he did. He's now got a feel for it. He also, for 3 years probably, he's been saying, can I do fantasy football? Can I do And I always say yes, and then it always gets too late, and we never set up the league. And, you know, it's more difficult. He's 11. It's more difficult with him because, like, he doesn't have a computer, but we have a bunch of computers around the house. But, like, does he have an actual email address that's not related to school? And so I have to contact parents because he wants to play with all of his baseball friends and his school friends and stuff. So it's me making contact with the parents, and they have to sign it up, but then they have to log in and let the kid borrow the phone to do the draft. It's kind of tough. He asked to set up a league. I set up a league for him. That draft is Friday at noon. Maybe we'll do that one live, too. I don't know. He did his other one. So right after we set that one up, then he got invited into a league with his friends from school. So he's in the league with the 8-team league with his friends from school. He's got a 10-team draft coming up with baseball friends and his brothers. So it's 3 kids that live here plus 7 other kids from our baseball league that are all in it. So that's tab 1. I have to leave that one open. Next tab. RFK Jr. demanded a vaccine study to be retracted. The Journal said no. This is interesting. I'm entertained by RFK Jr. Not just his voice, not just the worm in his brain or whatever that was. I think on some level, he believes what he's saying, put it that way. I don't think that he's BSing. He might be a little off. He certainly thinks differently than other people, but I'm under the impression that he is sincere in his desire to improve overall health in America. I think he's serious. He might be nuts, but I think he means it. All right. In a rare move for a U.S. public official, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. called for a Danish paper finding no link between aluminum in vaccines and disease to be retracted. That is rare. In fact, I've never heard of it happening before. U.S. Health Secretary and vaccine skeptic RFK Jr. has called for the retraction of a Danish study that found no link between aluminum in vaccines and chronic diseases in children, a rare move for a U.S. public official. Aluminum has been used for almost a century to enhance the immune system's response to some vaccines, but some people, Jenny McCarthy, claim the ingredient is linked to rising rates of childhood disorders such as autism. Public health officials in Kennedy's position rarely request that studies be retracted, says Ivan Oransky, a specialist in academic publishing and co-founder of the media organization Retraction Watch. Retraction Watch. Through this request, Secretary Kennedy has demonstrated that he wants the scientific literature to bend to his will, says Oransky. Study in question is one of the largest of its kind. It was published in the Annals of Internal Medicine in July. Looked at 1.2 million children born over more than 2 decades in Denmark. The authors report that no significant risk of developing autoimmune, allergic, or neurodevelopmental disorders was associated with exposure to aluminum compounds in vaccines. In an opinion piece published on Trial Site News, that sounds legit, Trial Site News, August 1st, Kennedy called into question the study's methodology, analysis, and results. Since his appointment as head of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Kennedy has bypassed normal scientific review processes to change vaccine recommendations and terminated grants for projects on mRNA vaccines. Annals of Internal Medicine says it stands by the study and has no plans to retract it. Christine Lane, editor-in-chief for the Journal, wrote in a comment on the study's webpage August 11th that, quote, retraction is warranted only when serious errors invalidate findings or as there is documented scientific misconduct, neither of which occurred here. The Department of Health and Human Services said Kennedy's article spoke for itself and that the department did not have any further comment in response to Nature's questions, Nature being the website that I'm reading from, nature.com. And in response to Nature's questions about Kennedy's request for a retraction. Then goes into more about aluminum. Aluminum in the form of salts such as potassium aluminum sulfate have been administered in vaccines for diseases ranging from whooping cough to pneumonia to millions of people worldwide. Vaccines have been widely studied for safety issues. An independent virologist in Canberra, Gary Groman, says there's no evidence of significant side effects caused by the small amount of aluminum in vaccines. But in 2011, a study published in the Journal of Inorganic Biochemistry. I let my subscription lapse on that one, so I didn't catch this back in 2011. But yeah, I was no longer receiving the Journal of Inorganic Biochemistry by 2011. They claim to show a causal relationship between rising autism diagnosis in children and increased exposure to aluminum-containing vaccines. In 2012, World Health Organization's Global Advisory Committee on Vaccine Safety said the study and another by the same authors were seriously flawed because they used inappropriate study designs, incorrect assumptions, and questionable data. So, I don't know. We're just here. We're here where scientists study something, they put it out, somebody says, I don't believe you, I don't think that's right. And then we just go back and forth. I don't have a real firm anything on RFK. I think he's trying. I think he's sincere. I don't think he's controlled by anything. I think he's got ideas and he's trying them, and I don't know that it's great. All right, I've got Ranker. This is from today. I was just looking up musicians from Minneapolis, best musical artists from Minnesota. Here's how they are ranked. Number 1 is Prince. Number 2 is Bob Dylan. And this is, if you're not familiar with Ranker, it's a site where you just go there and there's a list and you just vote things up and down. Like, I'll vote Prince up. I'm going to vote Bob Dylan down. I'm going to vote The Replacements up. I'm going to vote Judy Garland. No, I'll skip her. I don't care. Soul Asylum, I'll vote up. Husker Du, I'll vote up. The Andrews Sisters, nope, down. Semisonic. All right, real quick on Semisonic. They are best known for the song Closing Time. And I hate that song. I've always hated that song until I heard the lead singer and songwriter do an extensive interview. It might have been on that, there's a podcast called Song Exploder where artists go on and talk about one particular song and how it was put together. And maybe it's about the production, maybe it's about the writing of the song, whatever it is, but there's always something there. Maybe it's about how they had this great idea, but they didn't know what to do until they found this piano hook, and then that piano hook brought it up. It's just a very cool thing. Listening to that episode, it made me like Dan Wilson, and it made me not hate Closing Time. Since listening to that podcast about the song, I have not turned it off when it comes on the radio. I used to hate it. I don't hate it anymore. I also found out that he's a prolific songwriter and has worked with other artists, and one of the songs that he either wrote or co-wrote is Not Ready to Make Nice by the Dixie Chicks, which happened just around the time of their whole controversy with Texas and the president, George W. Bush, and all that stuff. And that song was great and powerful, and he wrote it. And so I'm voting Semisonic up. I voted the Andrews Sisters down just because I'm mean. Trampled by Turtles. I've heard of them. I don't know what they are. Bluegrass folk. That sounds good. Up. Babes in Toyland. I kind of remember them being terrible. The all-female trio Babes in Toyland left an indelible mark on the global music landscape, formed in Minneapolis in 1987. They combined raw ferocity with a powerful feminist message, inspiring countless women to pick up instruments and make their voices heard. Their unapologetic style and rebellious spirit have ensured Babes in Toyland's place among Minnesota's most influential musical acts. I'm voting them down. Gear Daddies, formed in, let's say Austin? Where'd they go? Well, the Gear Daddies just moved up. Oh, because I put Babes in Toyland down. And maybe somebody simultaneously moved Gear Daddies up. Because Gear Daddies just moved to 10 and Babes in Toyland they actually went down. All right. Formed in Austin, Minnesota in 1984, the Gear Daddies brought a unique blend of heartland rock and alternative country to the state's burgeoning music scene. I like it already. Vote them up. Good for them. 72% agree. The Time, we heard from them, Morris Day and The Time. Watching the video for Jungle Love by Morris Day and The Time made me really wish that I was a part of the funk scene at some point. I've never really been in a band, not since like early high school when I was in like school band. College. We briefly had a band in college. We were terrible, but we played one gig. It was good. We played 2 originals. No, 1 original. Might have been 2 originals. Followed by our cover of The Sign by Ace of Base. And then they wanted an encore, and we did Nothing But a Good Time by Poison. Those were our songs. That was our set list. I've got it on video somewhere. It's terrible. Number 13 on this list is The Suburbs. Never heard of them? Pioneers of the Twin Cities punk and new wave scene in the late 70s and early 80s. No vote. The Jayhawks. I like the Jayhawks. Formed in Minneapolis in 1985. They've earned their reputation as one of the pioneers of the alt-country and Americana movements. Led by founding members Gary Loris and Mark Olson, the band seamlessly combines elements of country, folk, and rock with their signature lush harmonies and engaging storytelling. I can only name one song by Jayhawks, but it's great. It's called Blue. Where have all your friends, my friends gone? They've all disappeared. I'm going to play that one. What else is on here? Hippocampus, no idea. The Trashmen. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. One of the most successful songwriting and production duos in music history. That's all. That's all they are. Voting them up. Produced Janet Jackson and Boyz II Men, Mariah Carey. Yes. The Revolution gets its own spot here at number 18. Best known as Prince's backing band. They played an integral role in shaping the groundbreaking Minneapolis sound. With undeniable musical prowess and chemistry, the group contributed significantly to iconic albums such as Purple Rain in 1999. They disbanded in 86, but continue to perform and celebrate the legacy of their time with Prince, solidifying their status as one of Minnesota's most influential musical acts. Now that's something to do. Like, does the Revolution just have a random show on a, what's today, Wednesday night in Minneapolis? Because I would do that. I would definitely do that. I would go see Prince without Prince. Prince is dead. It's the best Prince experience you can get. It's a Revolution. Number 19 is Marcy Playground. They had that Sex and Candy song that's terrible. I'm voting them down. Then at number 20 is something called Motion City Soundtrack. Never heard of. Owl City. Is Owl City Vacation? I'm on vacation tonight. It's the second time that stupid song has come up within the last week. I didn't even know that there was a Minneapolis connection. Established in 2007 by multi-instrumentalist and singer-songwriter Adam Young, Owl City quickly rose to international fame with its dreamy synth-pop sound and enchanting melodies. They have a song called Fireflies. I definitely feel like I've heard of that song, and I bet I know it. And I think it's them and Carly Rae Jepsen that do Vacation, which is a song that was a hit in my house like 4 years ago for no apparent reason. At number 22 is a band called Atmosphere. At number 23 is Marcy Playground again. Is that because I voted them down? Yeah, I think it is. Good. Then low, Lizzo. No. The Jets. Oh, I remember the Jets. Crush on You. You Got It All. I know I would know them if I heard them. The Jets. Might have to look them up. Bob Mould is in here by himself. As founding member and guitarist for Husker Du. He's at 28 by himself. I'm voting him up. He's better than the Jets, right? Eddie Cochran, Lips Inc., Funky Town. Dun, 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 dun. All right, we're going to hear Funky Town today. Bunch of people I never heard of. Sunvolt. What's Sunvolt doing on here? With their roots in the Minneapolis music scene, the band's soulful storytelling, heartfelt harmonies, and timeless melodies have continued to resonate with fans and critics alike. Testament to their enduring influence, Sunvolt remains in the upper echelon of Minnesota's most revered musical artists. Upvote. Vixen. Glam metal women. Edge of a Broken Heart. I've been living on the edge of a broken heart. I don't want to fall. I don't want to fall. Voting them down. Ooh, I just moved them to number 40. My one downvote moved them to 40 after somebody named Peter Ostrowsko. Ostrowsko. I'm not doing anything with him. Gypsy, I don't know. The Minnesota Orchestra. This is number 38. Somebody here called Haley Bonar. Bonar? B-O-N-A-R? That's Bonar. Vixen's 40. Slug, 41. Flamin' O's. Bunch of other people I never heard of. The Honey Dogs. New Power Generation. That's the other Prince band. From 1990 to 2013. They were replaced in 2013, and then in 2015 they reunited as Prince's backing band for his final studio album before his death. They reunited once again in 2017 for a U.S. and European tour. I have not heard of these other people on this list, but it keeps going. There's a lot of music. Big history going on musically in Minneapolis. I'm not going to find somebody I know down at the bottom here. I'm into like number 70. Cows. There's a band called Cows. Maserati. After the Burial. Impaler. Arc Welder. Danny Mangold. All right, I'm going to stop. We're approaching 100. I'm not going to find it. Like, they didn't just forget about somebody. We get to the bottom, and it's like, Soundgarden's actually from Minneapolis. That's not good. All right, so I can close that tab. All right, we move to the next one. Oh, this one's got a bunch of stuff about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, and I just don't feel like it. I saw one good Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift joke, and it was the prenup is going to be longer than any book Travis Kelce's ever read. That was pretty good. What's this one? Erie County tourism set new records in 2024. All right. I like it here. I like it here a lot. I've lived here my whole life. I recommend it. I invite people to come in to do stuff, like when the Bills are playing or when there's a concert or something. But as far as just like tourism, are we seriously are we pretending that that's what we do here? Because there are some kayaks? I don't know. Visitor spending in Erie County reached new record highs in 2024. The latest economic impact study from the Oxford Economics Company, Tourism Economics. Tourism Economics shows. Study shows that traveler spending rose 7.2% to $2.7 billion in 2024, surpassing the previous high of $2.4 billion in 2023. Lodging spending was up, recreation spending was up, food and beverage sales were up, retail's up, transportation's up, second home ownership is up. A quote from the Visit Buffalo Niagara president, Patrick Kaler, says this record-breaking year is a testament to Buffalo's remarkable transformation into a top-tier visitor destination. I mean, that is what Visit Buffalo Niagara's president and CEO would say, right? I like it here, but come on. From restored architectural landmarks to a revitalized waterfront and vibrant neighborhoods filled with new restaurants, shops, and experiences, travelers are responding to the energy and evolution of our city. This is what happens when you invest in a place and believe in its potential. I'm like Mr. Positive, Mr. Optimist, Mr. Buffalo. I like Buffalo. But, I don't know. This just seems like a lot. I guess if the numbers show it, then sure. But Erie County and tourism don't really go that well together for me. I like it here, but it's for us. It's not for visitors. It's for us. Unless you're coming in to watch a football game or a concert. Then we'll share with you. But I don't know. This momentum didn't happen by accident. It's a result of a sustained effort to build a compelling visitor experience here, and we're only getting started. With our newly expanded marketing efforts, thanks to additional support from Erie County, we can reach even more high-value travelers and ensure that Buffalo remains one of the most exciting and dynamic destinations in the Northeast. Again, I like it here. I'm not trying to put this down. It's just, when I think of Buffalo, I don't think of tourism. Do you? Stevie Johnson's trying to bring back arena football. Buffalo Bills legend looks to revive indoor football for Buffalo. There have been a few rebirths of indoor football teams across New York over the years. The Albany Firebirds are locked in for a 2025 season after the Empire had their struggles, and a team with a newer league is set to start this year on Long Island. For some who remember the Buffalo Destroyers, a recognizable name is working to bring them back. Bills legend Stevie Johnson is aiming to get a team back in the 716. I love Stevie Johnson, and I hate arena football. Let me just put that out there right now. We went on a trip when Buffalo was getting a team. Mark Hamister had purchased the Buffalo Destroyers, or gotten them as an expansion team, and we knew a year in advance that they would be coming. They put us all on a train to Albany, and it was me and Bulldog and Shred and Reagan and Puff. Gary Puffpath was involved, and I'm sure there were other people on the trip as well. I just don't remember who, because I spent my time with Bulldog and Shred and Reagan. And then we accidentally stumbled on Puff singing Mac the Knife at karaoke at some outdoor bar at their tailgate party before the game or something. So I know for sure Puff was there. Like, listen to this guy singing. And you get up there and it's Puff, the Puff Man, the original Diddy. He didn't do the stuff that, I didn't mean to do that. To Puff. He was Puff first, though. He was Puff before Puff Daddy was Puff Daddy. I think. He's Puff Path. Gary Puff Path. Anyway, we went to this thing, and we watched half of an arena football game, and then just couldn't take it anymore, and then went and shot pool at a bar. Me and Bulldog and Shred and Reagan just left the football game. Even though we were on the trip with the owner who was showing us how cool arena football was, we just couldn't watch it. It turns out that game, and I'd have to look it up to find out if the record still stands, it was, at the time, the highest scoring game in arena football history, and that might be what made it stupid. It was like watching football, but the scoring was like basketball, so you couldn't get that excited because it was just going to happen again going the other way anyway. It was just like, and that's not a knock on basketball. I like the scoring system in basketball, but taking football and then just having everybody score all the time, it just didn't, I hated it. Then I ended up working for the team for a year or maybe even 2, and I apologize to those who worked there that thought I liked it. It's come up a few times where people are like, wait, if you hated it, why were you there? Because you paid me. People go to work jobs they don't like all the time. I didn't like that one. It wasn't terrible, but I didn't like the sport. I liked working. I just didn't like the sport, so I didn't want to be around the sport. All right, so here's what Stevie Johnson's saying. He says, when I got to Buffalo, I was looking at Thurman Thomas, Andre Reed, Jim Kelly, and those guys, looking at those guys, Bruce Smith, and seeing what they were doing in the community. I always felt like, hey, I guess football is going to last forever. You know what's going to happen after this? Or I guess football is not going to last forever. The writing here is horrible, so I'm just paraphrasing. In the early phases of logistics, Johnson has his eyes on the community that's given him so much. He's giving back now. He's giving back how he's learned to after the years in Orchard Park. He says, I didn't know anything about indoor football like that. I didn't know anything before I went to a game in San Diego and met with the San Diego Strike Force. But when I did see it, as wow, it opened my mind to another platform for people. I got to learn the ins and outs of the business, the Indoor Football League. The mission is clear. The identity and location, not a heavy lift. Is there a team? Why that? What? Is there a team? Why what happened this and that? I started doing my due diligence. Let's try to bring some proteins there. You know, Buffalo is the spot. The community is the best. It's the best in the world. There's no doubt about it. You could tell anybody from Arizona to the top parts of the East Coast, you say Buffalo, they say, oh, that fan base. So to help bring the Destroyers back to life, Johnson has enlisted the help of an old friend, Fred Jackson. He saw the business. He understands the vision and what we're trying to provide. This was clearly written not by AI, but by, like, you know, the same technology that you're watching a video on YouTube and it's got captions, but the captions aren't quite right because AI did that. That's clearly what happened here with this article from Spectrum. Like, it says it was written by someone named Kevin Hayes, but Kevin Hayes did not write this because nobody would write these words. He saw the busy. I'm pretty sure that meant business. He understands the vision and what we're trying to provide. He understands this is not something we're going to make money on. This is something we're going to do to have that feeling, that fulfillment in our hearts because we helped someone else. Have that feeling that we felt, again, amongst millions. What is that even? That's not right. The hard part is getting investors because, again, these people are spending their hard-earned money and they have to spend it on something they believe in. Johnson is all in from turf to the potential for the community they'll represent. He says, I mean, it'll be worth it if we can get it all collectively together. It'll definitely be worth it. It'll be something special for the city. Nothing set in stone. Fundraising is well underway. Johnson and the group putting this together have a few solid leads on potential leagues, a venue, and have purchased some of the major equipment to make that 2026 benchmark very attainable. So do with it what you will. I don't like football being played inside. There's a Bruce Willis story. I'm going to play a song. And take a break. Taking you up until 10. Sex and Candy is a great song, but I was 16 when it came out. That is not a great song. That's a bad song. I would call it a terrible song. I closed out the music tab and forget what I said. I was definitely... Oh, Jayhawks. I said I would definitely play Jayhawks. All right, I'm going to find Jayhawks Blue, play that song, and then probably one more, and then I'll be back with you. Jayhawks Blue. Let's see if this works. It should work. I like this song. Where have all my friends gone? They've all disappeared. Around maybe one day. The harmonies are what do it for me. The harmonies are awesome. All right, let's try it. Jayhawks, Blue. It's episode 153. I'm going to Minneapolis. They're from Minneapolis. Get it? This portion of Writer Radio has been deleted for the podcast version. If you want to hear everything that happens, listen live weekdays 10 to noon at writerradio.com. Song just kind of ends, huh? All right. And I said that into the microphone, but the microphone was not turned on. It just ended, and I wasn't ready. I was mesmerized by the video. It's among the best and worst videos that's ever been produced. I don't think I've ever seen it before. Maybe like a quick clip of the Funky Town video by Lips Inc. from Minneapolis, Minnesota, where I'm headed today for the UB football game tomorrow, and the pistachio situation, the pistachio experiment, pistachio incident. What's the right pistachio-geddon? What's the right term? I'm getting updates. This is cool. It's my show, right? It's got my name right on it, Writer Radio. But all of my updates come from Scott because he's working behind the scenes to make it awesome. I just sit down and do the thing, but Scott is preparing. So the first text I got from Scott Wilson today, who I'll see in a couple hours, is, in the interest of transparency, I have packed 339 pistachios, one extra for the record. Again, I will stress, the record is 338 pistachios cracked and eaten in 5 minutes. My point was, I think the eating is the easier part. The cracking is the harder part. That led to Scott saying, you think you can eat 338 pistachios in 5 minutes? And that led to me saying yes, and we're going to find out. So I don't know what I consider a success. I don't know what I can. I mean, obviously, if I get to 339, that's a rousing success, and live to tell the tale. If I don't know what's going to happen. If I eat half of them, is that good? All right, TBD. So that's the first update I got from Scott. In talking about the potential health risks of eating 338 pistachios in 5 minutes, Scott says, big upside is that we travel with about 15 athletic trainers and probably like 5 to 7 of the best doctors in Buffalo for every trip. I do agree with that. That is good if we were doing this surrounded by them. This is going to be in a hotel room with no medical personnel standing by. I don't think you need medical personnel for pistachios. I think it's fine. If it starts to hurt, I'll stop. I'm not saying it's a great idea. I'm saying it's an idea and we're doing it. Not all of the ideas are great. Most of my ideas are terrible, but I have lots of them. And some happen and some don't. This one, I think, this was happening. We're not just going to snack on 339 pistachios. We're going to turn this into a thing. Another update about the show for tomorrow is that tomorrow's show will have 2, not 1, but 2 live editions of the Hallmark game. The Hallmark game is a new addition to the show, and it's a tremendous addition to the show. You might hear the Hallmark game while we're watching the Hallmark Channel. All of this is possible tomorrow. What an exciting show it's going to be tomorrow between 10 and noon. Although it will be between 9 and 11 Central Time. Got to make that adjustment. Scott, remind me about that. Remind me we're changing clocks. We have to think in that way. All right, to be on at 10, we've got to be on at 9. Let's not forget. If we're late, we're late. But let's try to do this the right way. It's not your problem that I'm in a different time zone. I am very bad at time zones. This is one of the holes in my game. I know it's a hole in my game. I struggle badly with it. When I was first in radio producing producing Bulldog Show, he sat at the desk. We shared an office. He had a desk. I had a desk. And on my desk, right in front of me, on there's like a cork board, I had a map, a U.S. map with the time zones drawn on it so that I could remember, all right, Detroit's the same as us, but Chicago's one different, and then I have to really think about which direction to go. I consider myself to be a pretty intelligent person, but I also recognize there are certain things, certain holes in my game. One of them is moving around time zones. One of them is, for Little League, remembering how to set up birth dates for registration. Because the lower the number of the lower the year, the higher the age. So if you're trying to keep, I'm not even going to do it. I'm going to talk myself into circles just doing it. It's the biggest headache I have every year in getting ready for a baseball season or a basketball season is figuring out how to set up the dates so that the 10-year-olds are with the 10-year-olds and not going in reverse, because if you're born in 2012, that makes you older than if you're born in 2014. But those numbers, like the order that you put them in, it just, there's some hole in there's a hole in my game there. And I recognize that. Another one I have, here's another one. My buddy Josh always talks about neurodivergence. I'm going to look up. I think I might have that, like a neurodivergence disorder. Let me see what that means, because I always pretend I know what he's talking about. He's like, oh, it's just my neurodivergence kicking. And I'm like, yeah, it is. But I don't know what that means. But I think I do. Like, I have a feeling I know what it means. Let's see if it's me. It's a non-medical term that describes people whose brains develop or work differently for some reason. Yes. This means a person has different strengths and struggles from people whose brains develop or work more typically. Yes. While some people who are neurodivergent have medical conditions, it also happens to people where a medical condition or diagnosis has not been identified. What does it mean? Describes people whose brain differences affect how their brain works. It means they have different strengths. And I just said all of these words. Possible strengths include better memory, being able to mentally picture three-dimensional objects easily, the ability to solve complex mathematical calculations in their head. It's not a medical term. It's a way to describe people using words other than normal and abnormal. That's important because there's no single definition of normal for how the human brain works. All right, here's what I thought it might have meant and why I believe it might apply to me. I will have a conversation with you on the air about all these plans that we have for tomorrow, let's say. And then I'll have a conversation with my wife about all these plans for tomorrow. And then at some point realize I just double booked everything. Everything that when I'm talking to her, I'm thinking about the stuff that she's interested in. When I'm talking to you, I'm thinking about stuff you're interested in. So I screw up. And I'll be like, yeah, we had it yesterday. I accidentally double booked a baseball practice because somebody asked me, hey, can I use that field at this date, this time? And I was like, I got to check on that. And then when I checked on it, he got back to me like a day later, and I never put it on the calendar. And somebody else said, hey, can I use that time? And I was like, yeah, sure. Nobody's on there. And I put it, and I get there, and they're both there. I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. I did talk to both of you at the exact same time. Or not at the exact same time, but about the exact same thing. That's my fault. I did that. Because I made two plans for the same time with different people. I do that all the time. It's one of the holes in my game. Is that neurodivergence? It might be. Sorry, Josh, that I never told you that I don't know what that word means. I always mean to ask, but we get distracted and we talk about other things. All right, I'm closing out Funky Town by Lips, Inc., and moving on to K-pop Demon Hunters. All right, so the phrase K-pop Demon Hunters first came into my life maybe 4 or 5 days ago. I just started hearing the phrase K-pop Demon Hunters. I knew that it was being used to make fun of my youngest son. He's 8. He's a little kid. In some respects, he's very mature. In other respects, he likes to watch things like K-pop Demon Hunters on Netflix. And I didn't know what it was at all. I just kept hearing the phrase and laughter about it. And then we learned that he watched this movie. It's a movie on Netflix. It's like anime style. I watched about 10 minutes of it yesterday. It wasn't the worst. It wasn't the best. It's not what I would expect my 8-year-old to be into. He's usually watching YouTube highlights of the NFL. But he's into this K-pop Demon Hunters thing that he's seen several times. When I walked in, they were singing a song called Soda Pop in the movie. And he told me this is the most popular song in the movie. I said, what does that even mean? And his answer was, when I was at practice today, everybody knew all the words. So a team of 9-year-olds, 8 and 9-year-olds, has all absorbed the movie K-pop Demon Hunters on Netflix enough that they're singing songs at baseball practice, singing a song from the movie. And it's not from like the opening credits. It's like right in the middle of the movie, there's a song called Soda Pop. They all know it. How do they do that? How do they all know about Chicken Jockey when it's we're watching the Minecraft movie? We watched Minecraft. We had movie night at baseball. First of all, they all know to yell Chicken Jockey and throw stuff. Second, they all knew the words to a song earlier in the movie. Like, oh, here it comes. And then just 100 kids are all singing this song that I've never heard before. Minecraft movie was better than I expected it to be. K-pop Demon Hunters doesn't seem like something I'd be that interested in. That said, it's a sensation, and already there is a sequel coming. K-pop Demon Hunters sequel moving ahead as Sony and Netflix engage in deal talks. The deal-making comes as the runaway sensation lands on the list of the streamer's most-watched English-language films of all time, a feat few could have imagined. Yeah, I don't get what's going on. It just happens sometimes with kids, and I guess it's got to be social media related. It's got to have to do with like TikTok or Instagram or something, where they're all sharing these little clips with each other, and something can become like world famous and crazy popular in 10 seconds. But I never heard of K-pop Demon Hunters until, like I said, 5 days ago. And now the story is, yeah, of course they're making a sequel. How K-pop Demon Hunters Conquered the World. This is a story from Time Magazine. Like the best idol groups, K-pop Demon Hunters isn't good at just one thing. In K-pop, songs can and do exist on their own, but they're meant to be part of a bigger performance that incorporates visuals, dance, fashion, personality, and an aesthetic concept into one story spectacle. In many ways, it's a lot like filmmaking. Quote, as people who work in animation and storytelling, we're trained to layer things on and create something as entertaining as possible. It's the summer's biggest hit. It's an animated film about a K-pop girl group that moonlights as a team of demon hunters, blends comedy, action, music, and a dash of supernatural horror for a film that is emotionally rewarding and rewatchable. It's been more than 2 months since K-pop Demon Hunters' unassuming debut on Netflix, and the movie's success is showing no signs of slowing. At the time of this writing, this is from the 22nd, 5 days ago, it's on track to be the streamer's most watched film ever, and 2 of the soundtrack's original songs are in the Billboard Hot 100. Golden, you're wrong, Drew. Golden is the movie's most popular track and currently the most streamed song in the U.S. 3 of the movie songs have made it into the Billboard Hot 100's top 10. No mention of Soda Pop in here, but I'm sure he's right. I don't get how it happens, but it reminds me of 2 things. It reminds me of Squid Game, not just because it's, obviously an Asian influence thing, but it was like, where'd this come from? Why are we all watching it? Why does everybody know everything about it? How did it become this massive sensation? It was interesting and quirky and kind of weird, but it's not great. I tried to watch season 2 and I went, nah, I'm not doing this again. I watched the first season because you kind of had to, like, all right, I'm in. And it was pretty fun. Like the first time you saw red light, green light, like that was pretty cool. Pretty violent, pretty gross. But it was, it was fun. But the ability of something to become popular, and maybe I just didn't notice it from the time I was a kid until the time I had kids. Like you don't pay attention to pop culture in the same way. And a lot has changed with streaming and social media and all that stuff, but the ability for something to just become a massive sensation quickly is weird. It reminds me of, now you'd have to have kids that are the right age. But a few years ago, when Old Town Road went from just a song that I'd heard of to it just being everywhere. And not just hearing the song constantly, but constantly hearing people talking about the song. And it was assumed by my then, I don't know, how old is that song? 5, 6 years ago? How long when was Old Town Road? No, I don't want to go over any of these. Hold on. Old Town Road, right here. All right, Old Town Road release date. Perfect. That was 2018. So that's 7 years ago. December of 2018. So 2018-19. The remix featuring Billy Ray Cyrus didn't come out till April 5th, 2019. So that's kind of what it was. The song gained viral traction in late 2018 after becoming a meme on TikTok. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, little things like that. And I remember my kids talking about Old Town Road as if, and not just my kids, but like the other kids they were around, other, the baseball kids, the school kids, all that it was the greatest song of all time. Like they just, here it is. We are laying it down, and Lil Nas X and Billy Ray Cyrus have combined to create the greatest song of all time. And then anyone who listened to it would be like, this is definitely not the greatest song of all time. But it was kind of fun. It was kind of quirky. It was stupid. It was terrible. But it was kind of fun. But very similar. Old Town Road and K-pop Demon Hunters are linked in my brain for kind of just jumping into the zeitgeist by way of children and getting onto my radar. And I'm old. So there's that. We can close out Old Town Road. We can close out the K-pop thing. Oh, you know what? Do I have this? I probably do not. Did I save it? Yes, I did. Awesome. Okay. I highly recommend. Oh, there's a Lil Nas X update. He was just arrested. So those two stories are right next to each other. Nothing like this story is not open because of Old Town Road. This story is open because Lil Nas X says arrest and jail time were terrifying. I already had that one, and then I connected it to the Lil Nas X thing. I forgot about that. So I'll get to that in a minute. But watching Bill Simmons' podcast, he did a thing. So Kyle Brandt comes on there every now and then. Anytime Kyle Brandt is on a Bill Simmons anything, it's worth watching. Really, anytime Kyle Brandt's on, he's worth watching. Super entertaining. They have this thing going. Do I want to play it? I kind of do. It's just a gimmick that they had, that Bill Simmons had for a podcast, where he's taking action movies and equating like 80s and 90s action movies, associating each NFL team with one of them. And the Bills were the second team mentioned in the thing, and I pulled the audio. It's 2 minutes and 56 seconds long. This will just give you... I watched most of this podcast. It covers every team. But the Bills were early. Not all of it is great, but I definitely recommend watching like the first 40 minutes or so. Yeah, I'm going to play the Bills thing. Why not? I've got a couple minutes here. This is Bill Simmons, his buddy Joe House, and Kyle Brandt from NFL Network talking about what movie the Bills would compare to. What action movie? Just it's fun.
I did not have Kansas City as my 1 seed.
Nor did I.
I had the Bills of Buffalo as my 1 seed.
Wow.
In the AFC.
This
Now,
is unbelievable.
we should mention I'm doing 4 hours of content with the Cuz, where we're doing all of our over-under picks and futures and everything on Thursday. I reserve the right to change my mind over the next 4 days.
I get it. So do I.
Right
We all
now,
do.
Right now, I'm leaning toward kind of going all in on the Bills story and all the pieces and Josh and the whole thing. So my movie is going to be Cliffhanger. Sly Stallone, 1993. The run's kind of over for him.
Yeah.
He has
He's-
this
he's-
amazing 80s. Arnold has come in and cleaned his clock. And we've talked about this on Rewatchables multiple times. Arnold comes in and he's just like, here's Total Recall. Here's Kindergarten Cop. Here's Terminator 2. He's just like, he's pummeling him a lot like Rocky in the first couple rounds of Rocky 4. Stallone's just getting the shit kicked out of him. And people kind of give up on Stallone a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cliffhanger happens, and he gets us to come to the theater right before, it was like right around Memorial Day, May 1993.
Yep.
And he's fucking back. He looks great. The movie looks awesome. He's just playing all the hits, and we leave the movie and we're like, Stallone's back. I think that I'm gonna feel that way about Buffalo at the end, like all the stuff, all the tough losses and the close and this and that, and I just feel like this is gonna be their cliffhanger season. Plus, literally, it's a cliffhanger, Kyle Brandt.
Yes.
That's my case.
I think there's also a lot of things that just piss people off about the Bills. They leave you frustrated a lot. And as we know, Michael Rooker spends this entire movie just kind of pissed off for really weird reasons that don't make sense. Like at the beginning scene, he's mad, even though he brought the girlfriend up there and she died, but he blames. There's a lot of blame that goes around with Buffalo when they don't pan out or they can't beat the Chiefs again. So I think there's a symmetry there too.
Misplaced anger, blame, resentment. Yeah, so Cliffhanger starts house. Michael Rooker takes his girlfriend up on a mountain. And they're hiking, and it gets fucked up. They have to be rescued. And finally, they're on a zip line, and she barely knows how to hike and starts to lose it on the zip line. And Stallone tries to be the hero. Like, she's going to fall, climbs on the zip line to save her, and she ends up falling to her death. And Rooker's pissed off about it. I was like, what about you, buddy?
Yeah.
Who took her up there,
Who
shithead?
took her up there? That's right.
So anyway, and he's mad at Stallone the whole movie. All right,
This is like Bills fans being mad at Dalton Kincaid at the end of the title game for dropping that pass. Like, was that really what it was about? It's a little bit misplaced. So, Bill, I think it's a great pick. And we're 2 teams in. I feel the same way you do. I'm like, oh, shit, I had a good one for Cliffhanger, or I had a good one for Buffalo. So we'll have to get to him somehow.
Yeah.
All right, there's a whole show. It's worth checking out. You can find it anywhere. It's a Ringer podcast. Bill Simmons, Kyle Brandt, NFL action movie, something or other. I recommend it. Somebody wrote in and asked, what's on the Hallmark Channel today? Well, let me tell you. Right now, we're 1 minute away from one of the movies that we talked about as part of the Hallmark game. Flip That Romance is starting at noon. Now, I'm not going to see it because I've got to scramble to get out of here, and I can't watch Hallmark until tonight. But Flip That Romance, rival house flippers Jules and Lance renovate dual sides of a duplex and rekindle an old romance. That's real. That's happening. Also on today, a bunch of episodes of Gilmore Girls. Movies start again at 6. We've got Season for Love. When a talented chef returns to her Texas hometown, she winds up entering the town's famous barbecue cook-off and gets more than she bargained for, of course, when the surprise judge turns out to be her high school love. After that is Double Scoop. Yeah, you guessed it, ice cream. Nora discovers the best ice cream and hopes to land them as a client. Her sweet dreams hit a snag when her former colleague James has the same idea. Old sparks begin to melt the frosty tension. That's at 8 o'clock. Then there's a bunch of episodes of The Golden Girls. Or maybe just Golden Girls. But there's 4 episodes of that. So I don't know that we're going to get a lot of Hallmark in tonight. But, tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be great. I don't want to skip ahead in case Scott has used something from tomorrow's schedule. If he used something from today's, I apologize. But, I had to point out that Flip That Romance, which has been a part of Writer Radio for nearly a week, is coming to fruition right now. You can tune in right now to the Hallmark Channel and watch Flip That Romance. I highly recommend you do. I can't. It's going to be great, though. Rival house flippers. Dual sides of a duplex. Should be good. All right. Is there other stuff? Lil Nas X. I'm going to go a few minutes extra to get all this stuff off my screen, and then I'll talk to you tomorrow from Minneapolis. Lil Nas X said Tuesday that his arrest and jail time were terrifying in his first public comments since he was charged with attacking L.A. police officers. Really? The 26-year-old rapper and singer, whose legal name is Montero Lamar Hill, pleaded not guilty to 4 felony counts Monday and was released on bail after spending the weekend in jail. In a video posted to Instagram, he smiled and shook his head in disbelief as he said, "These last 4 days have been terrifying," but he added with a laugh, speaking of himself, that, quote, "Your girl is going to be okay. She's going to be all right." He did not address any specifics about what happened, and his representatives have not responded to requests for comment. Authorities say Lil Nas X was walking naked down a major street in LA's San Fernando Valley and charged at police officers who were responding to calls about him, as cops would. It's like Naked Amherst guy, except he did Old Town Road. There's a guy that hangs out naked in Amherst State Park, half a mile from my house. A criminal complaint says 3 officers were hurt, and he was charged with 3 felony counts of battery with injury on a police officer, along with 1 count of resisting an executive officer. 3 cops were hurt by naked Lil Nas X? That's crazy. All right, closing that one. Shake Shack opening second full-service location in Buffalo Market. I did mention this, 5205 Transit Road. Talked about this the other day. Spot Coffee going away. Shake Shack coming in. There's a full story, but I'm not clicking on it because it's not going to work because I don't subscribe to any of these things. All right, Joe Mixon's non-football injury remains cloaked in mystery. My son Nate drafted Joe Mixon late yesterday. It's been called a foot injury. It's been called an ankle injury. Not much has been said about the injury that has kept him from practicing in training camp, and that will now cause him to miss at least 4 regular season games on the non-football injury list. Because it's non-football, it happened away from work. No one's saying how it happened or what the expected duration is. The injury has financial ramifications. For each game Mixon misses, he'll lose $29,411 in per-game active roster bonuses. And since payment of the player is discretionary, his $7 million base salary at game checks of $388,888 each is in jeopardy. There's also a chance he's in default as to his signing bonus. The proration for 2025 is $2 million. It's unclear why the approach has been silenced and invites speculation that Mixon may not be back for a while and that the Texans may not pay him while he's out. That is from Mike Florio at ProFootballTalk.com. So not a great draft pick for Nate there, but he's not really relying on him. Rock star who rose to fame in the 80s, dead at 85, just days after final show. We're playing fast and loose with language here because rock star is not a term I would use for the saxophone player of the Beaver Brown Band. Michael Antunes, his nickname is Tunes, played saxophone across 5 decades for John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band, has died. I'm not saying this isn't sad. I'm just saying that's not a rock star. It's not a rock star who came to fame in the 80s. It's the first I've ever heard him. No knock on him. Come on. Knock it off with that. Mark Maron calls Netflix fascist. I don't want to do that one. I want to like Mark Maron. I really do. But my God. It's just been so annoying lately. He's in all my feeds. It's always just Mark Maron says that the people that are funny aren't funny. It's like, Mark Maron is an interesting guy, not an especially funny guy who found a way to, the comedy thing. I didn't get it. But then him as a podcaster and just kind of being vulnerable and having conversations was awesome. And now he's quitting that. And now he's criticizing the people that are funny for being funny. And I don't know. I'm not comfortable with that. And then here's the thing about Google Messages getting a fresh new look. And I wanted to read that one for myself because I'm an Android guy, pro Android over here. And I use Google Messages. I used an app called Textra for a long time and then found out Google Messages was doing everything Textra was doing, but better. So I actually was able to delete that and just use the Google thing. So that one's open for me, not for you. It's from AndroidPolice.com. I like reading Android updates, but you don't need it. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. Oh, wait. Hold on. Couple more messages here. Billy Ray Cyrus' whole career is based off of crappy music. Yep. He only recorded Achy Breaky Heart so that Weird Al could record the Achy Breaky song, a much better song, in my opinion. And then regarding Lil Nas X, you can't even walk naked in the San Fernando Valley anymore. Shaking my head. I'm with you, man. It's a bunch of crap. All right, I'm going to put on one more song. Do I have anything ready? I don't have anything from Minneapolis ready. Go back to the replacements. What replacement song do you want to hear? How about... Should I just go really basic and do Can't Hardly Wait? Because that is a very fun... I could do like a rolling pin. I'm going to throw on like a rolling pin real quick. And then... Ooh, there's a good one. All right. I'll talk to you tomorrow live from Minneapolis, either having already consumed or attempted to consume a ton of pistachios or just doing that live. Please tune in. Thank you for listening, for texting, for sharing, for downloading podcasts, so liking, subscribing, all the things. Just do all the things. Then we can keep rolling like a rolling pin. Episode 154 live from Minneapolis tomorrow at 10 on Rider Radio.
What are you doing for lunch?
I don't know. I have a turkey sandwich.
We're gonna go around the corner. I think you should come with us. This is a great place.
I don't know. Okay.
We brought you a shirt.
You get out of here? Will you get out of here? Will you? Now, will you go to lunch? Go to lunch. Will you go to lunch?